Hey guys, how's it going? I want to say like two things real quick. I have tried to record this video probably 20 times. I've recorded it a few times, I've listened back to it for the past few days, and I just keep finding something that I don't like that I'm saying. So I'm gonna do my best with this and try not to talk forever. But in case I'm talking forever, please forgive me. I'm also walking around my apartment. So today new hotfixes came out. I was excited. I finally saw Warrior here. And we're gonna talk about this. Like there's a lot I want to talk about with Sod and all that, but really just like Devastate damage increased to 150%. Wow. Cool. What else we got? Hunter's getting more stuff. Mage is getting more stuff. Mage is getting more of a buff. Um, the Paladins are not happy about this. I'll show you the tweet in a second. But Warlock buffs, nice. All I'm saying is that the attitude that people have towards Warriors, if Warriors were getting the similar attention or buffs like this, people would be going apeshit. Like the fact that the top performing classes right now are getting this and no one's saying anything is actually like super fucking tilting. So we're gonna go over here. We're actually gonna pull up the tweet if I could figure out how to use my second monitor. Um, obviously Warrior DPS getting shafted again, but there's a lot of tweets like this where it's just like, "Hey Josh Green and rest of Sod team. I've been hoping Rhett would receive some wholesome changes, and this is a long post, but Rhett, I'm not going to talk about that." And then you have Feral, and so here's my point. The biggest thing that I get told when I'm talking about Warriors is that, oh, you only care because Warrior is bottom of the pack. Like this is Sod. This is different. Okay, so this is Sod, right? Let's go to Vanilla. We're gonna get out of the Twitter now. Let's go to Vanilla. This is Nax. Vanilla is pretty similar throughout the entire timeline of the game. So I'm going to keep the damage the same. What do you notice? Mages and Warlocks are on the top four still? Yeah. That's what I'm noticing too. So when I'm told that, like, I just care, or like, this isn't classic anymore, Warrior's not just the best DPS, Mage is very good. And I'm just going to say, like, real quick, I don't find this very accurate. Like, if you go to look at Classic Era, the numbers that Mages are putting up now with new tech they've discovered is fucking bonkers. Like, Mages are an insane DPS. If you look at Encore's Mage DPS, insane. They're so good at the game and pump so much damage. Like, mages were very, very good, and they provided a lot of utility in raid. So I mean, you look at all this, and so it's kind of like, well, it's not vanilla anymore. Like, if that's the case, and if that's the argument we're using, shouldn't like Feral be really high? Shouldn't Ellie enhance Shadow Priest? Ret be really high? Balance be really high? No, of course not, because that doesn't fucking matter to the argument that people make. And that's my thing. When they announced bouncing and creating runes, I was like, okay, like, obviously Enhance is fucking pumping right now, so we're going to leave Enhance out of this. Elemental's obviously very good. So Shaman has gotten its fair due. But you look at, like, Feral, and it's like, why is Feral not getting more buffs? You know what I mean? Like, they got shafted all of Vanilla, which is fine, because that's just how Vanilla works. Balance got shafted, Red got shafted, Shadow Priest is doing very good right now, so they're fine. But you look at these underperforming classes, and you're like, why is Sod not just like catering to these guys? Like, it's cool that Mage is pumping right now, but Mage is never in a bad spot in Vanilla. It's cool that Warlock's pumping right now, but Warlock was never in a bad spot in Vanilla. It's cool that Hunter's pumping right now. Hunter was never in a bad spot in Vanilla. Hunter scaled the worst out of any of these classes, but you always needed a Hunter, and Hunter was very good to have. Insane pulling, their buff is good, and this is just like a vanilla thing. Every expansion has something that makes it unique. TBC has a meta that I don't really like. It has the shaman meta, where you need a shaman in every group for lust and totems, and you can obviously rotate them, and it's a whole meta. I don't like that. But what I'm not going to do is propose that there's a TBC season that destroys that meta, that makes that game inherently unique. Because it doesn't work. And we'll talk about that in a little bit too. But so I'm looking at a meta of like DPS warriors, and I'm going to vanilla. Like, that's kind of what I'm expecting. That's what a lot of people were obviously expecting. Like, warrior was one of the most popular classes in phase 1. We're going to go to... I'm going to talk about this now too, because the next point I get a lot is, well, it's caster's turn to pump. Here's Gruul and Mech Theridon. Caster, 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 warrior, warrior, melee, caster, caster, ret. I'm gonna go to SSCTK. This is obviously not accurate. Like I don't really know. I guess how to fix this. I guess that's better. Caster, 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 caster. Hunter's rising up just a little. Melee's rising up just a little bit. That's Sunwell. We need to go to BT. Where's BT? There we go. We get a Black Temple. Caster, 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 caster. Warrior's starting to rise up a little bit. I don't really know if I agree with this, by the way. Like, I definitely feel like Arcane was pretty high up there. Arcane was fucking cranking. Like, I refuse to believe that Arcane was below Warrior, so I just don't buy that. Go Sunwell. Warrior is finally right below. Now let's go to Nax 25. We go to phase 1. Unholy DK, the unique meta of this iteration of the game. AF, Demo, Warrior. Ulduar. Phase 2. Warrior. Caster, caster. Ice Crown. This is not what I wanted. Statistics. Anyways, it's Feral and... Oh, dude, I'm so bad at this. It's Feral and Warrior at the top. Feral, Warrior, and Lemon. Caster, caster. Caster is still a premier DPS this entire time. So in all of these phases, Caster is a premier DPS. Caster is not going to have any issue getting into groups. No Warlock is going to have an issue getting into Sunwell. Even though Warrior's right here too, they're still going to have issues getting into Sunwell. No Warrior's going to have an easy time getting into Sunwell over a Mage or Hunter or Warlock. Same with Nax. Same with Ulduar. ICC, you might start getting more Fury Warriors in. Again, SSC, Caster's still at the top. Fury Warrior is going to have a hard time to get in. In Phase 2, it was a common meme in the Benediction Guild leadership chat that we would all meme about constantly getting Fury Warrior applicants and how it was constantly just Fury Warriors and LFG and a recruitment hole. Because no one wanted Warriors. No one wanted Warriors. No one wanted Warriors in TBC. Even in Sunwell. No one was actively recruiting them over Warlocks or Shamans or other classes like that. Just wasn't happening. The top of the top was performing really well, and in a really good comp they were performing really well. But Warlock just did so much more for you. And this is not what I want to look at yet. I gotta close the other tab that I wanted to look at. Season of Discovery. So when you have Warrior in a really low state, we're gonna go to Season of Discovery. We're gonna go to Statistics. So when you have Warrior all the way down here, and we're gonna go with the range of a day. When you have Warrior, again, fucking still really low, you have to ask yourself, what is this like for Warrior? Warrior can only DPS. Let's go to Tank. I guess that's not really a thing, huh? I actually don't know how to do tanking on this. Let's do... I guess? I don't know. I mean, okay, so look, yeah, 99,000 parses for that. I guess we'll go to Shaman Tank. 12k. That's actually... I guess that's just over a day, huh? I don't think there's really a lot of Feral Druids, so I'm not going to do that. We'll do Prop Paladin. This Prop Paladin is pretty good. 14k. Warrior's least used tank is what we can take away from that. That's with the buff. Obviously, Devastate's coming in Tuesday. That should up it out a lot a bit. But so Warrior tank isn't very good, and DPS isn't very good. So why does this matter? Let's go to Phase 1. Because a common argument is that, oh, well, Warriors pumped in Phase 1. That's great. That's phenomenal for Warriors. I don't really think that's accurate either. I'm going to be honest. I don't find that Rogue being on top was a very common place. Like, look at all the Warrior parses. Look at this. 1 million Warrior parses. That's insane. 18k melee hunter parses. A lot of Warlock parses. Warlocks were not struggling to get into groups. A lot of Mage parses. And here's the thing. So, yeah, Warrior was really good. Caster top 4, by the way. Casters who were in horrible spot, top 4. But Warriors were very good. They're very good. But Casters were not struggling to get into groups whatsoever. A Warlock wasn't struggling to get in a group. And a mage was not struggling to get into a group. Maybe Balance was. Maybe Ellie was. Maybe Shadow Priest was. But you know what? You can't get into a group as Balance? Fucking great news, dude. You can get in as a Feral Druid. Everyone wants a Feral Druid in Phase 1. Can't get into a group of Shadow Priest? Fucking great news, dude. Guess what you can do? You can play the best healer in the game. Resto Shaman is very okay. But Shaman Tank was the best tank in Phase 1. Warrior Tank was obviously very good DPS-wise, but the average person was probably going to take a Shaman Tank. So you could just play one of the first or second best tank in the game. Wow. That's pretty crazy. You can also heal as a Druid too. You can also heal as a Shaman. Warrior, you can't get in because the tank's not very good. You can't get in because the DPS is not very good. You're kind of just fucked. Like, that's the honest truth. And it's not even the fact that they're just not being brought because the DPS isn't good. They're not brought because the raid is inherently made anti-melee. And that's stupid. That is actual, like, brain dead. Like, it's so fucking stupid. Like, it's so anti-SOD. And here's my whole thing. You're talking about WoW, and let's go to Season of Mastery. Every version of WoW, every expansion, has something inherently unique to it. And that's what makes that version of the game unique. What makes WoW, vanilla especially, let's see if I still have it up. I don't. But what makes WoW so unique, especially vanilla, is the utility and what every class brings. Some classes are very niche, like Warlock doesn't really do a ton of damage, but they're going to provide their curses, their summons, their health stones, their soul stones. That's pretty big. Their imp buff, maybe, you want that for patchwork. Hunter's not really going to pump, but again, they're going to be able to pull really good for you, and they're going to be able to provide that buff. That's invaluable. That's a huge asset. Not every class needs to pump. And of course there's a whole theory on WoW that WoW starts losing its feeling of immersion when everyone became a champion. And that's kind of how it feels now. It's like not every class has to be at warrior level of damage in vanilla. Not every class needs a turn to pump. Warlocks were doing just fine last phase. Mage is doing just fine last phase getting into groups. To make it just so that they're pumping and other players can't get into groups, just because of all design, is actually just like really bad game design. Like it's laughably bad. And so then you have this, and it's like you go to SOD or SOM, and a lot of this is fine. Like actually, like a lot of this is fine. Like experience is good. Looking for group, whatever, sure, who cares? Profession changes. Black Lotus functioning as an arcane crystal is awesome. That's good game design. That's good change. But then you have this. You take out the most unique feature of vanilla. And they've admitted that they were wrong about this. But it's so fucking dumb that this wasn't even a consideration. This is because they listened and catered to the vocal minority of people who play vanilla. The people who play vanilla and who were like, oh, I hate getting world buffs, typically didn't actually get world buffs. Anyone who I ever met who said that never came with full world buffs, never came with full consumes. And sure, there were probably people who did, but like Boone really solved all those issues. Boone makes world buffs an afterthought. Like, it's so simple, it's so easy, but it's just like, man, like this was so stupid to remove the unique feature. If TBC dropped right now and they announced it, Lust is raid wide, you'd probably be like, yeah, that's kind of cool. But then you're also kind of like, damn, that just really hurts shamans. Because, like, you know, chain heal's really good, but priest healing output is just better. Now we only need X amount of shamans. You know, like now we only need, we probably only need like one of this, one of that. And we could start stacking it with warlocks and stuff like that. So you remove the unique quality, and you just stray really far away from the game. Like with SOD, you stray away from like just melee being really good. And it doesn't make sense. It hurts the game so much. And then you have shit like this where Blizzard just puts resources into stuff that you got to ask yourself, like, who the fuck was asking for this? Like, who actively wanted this? Like, when people were talking about what they wanted for a seasonal mode in that Season of Mastery, I don't remember people on large asking for Soul of Iron. And you go to the SOD announcement, and it's like you have this huge summer. That's a cute fucking dog in that ad, by the way. There's this huge summer of people constantly talking about Classic Plus, about how they want Classic Plus. And Blizzard capitalizes on that. They're like, yeah, you know, Vanilla's popping, Classic Era's popping, Hardcore's popping. We gotta do another Vanilla. We gotta do another season. And it's like, they're obviously, like, they don't say they're doing Classic Plus, but it's very heavily inferred. You know, like, they've obviously are capitalizing off the momentum off that. And when I was thinking about Classic Plus, or Vanilla with changes, we'll call it officially, because people get really mad when you say that it's Classic Plus. Were you actually imagining that the resources would be put into something like Melee Hunter that I've never fucking heard someone ask for in vanilla, or Rogue Tank, which they designed this spec, by the way? They designed Rogue Tank, and it fucking sucks. They've sold this, and it's not good, which is like the epitome of sod. It's like, guys, Ret's gonna be really good. Like, guys, you know, X is going to be really good, and it's not, and they don't know how to work around it. They don't know how to fix it. They've sold promises they don't know how to keep, and that's fine. It's cool that they're trying, but I just have to ask myself, how does Turtle WoW, a company that has probably 100th of the resources and has doesn't have everything that Blizzard has, not a multi-million-dollar company, how do they do all this shit? Like how do they make all the new raids? That's all people wanted. Blizzard could have dropped sod with a like 300% XP boost or something insane like that, and they could have just said, "Hey guys, you're gonna race to 60. We've got a whole. You're gonna go. We're gonna do the original phasing. We're gonna add in some like new dungeons, some new zones, and some maybe new like 20-man raids. But there's gonna be new 60-man raids that are gonna be taking place after Nax and stuff like that. And people would have gone apeshit. You obviously balance classes a little bit. All they had to do, and I have to go back to this, but it's going to drive me crazy. I just don't have it up. I'm so bad at this. All you have to do is balance this just a fucking little. Maybe remove debuff limit. Like, that's fine. Remove the debuff limit. But just make this gap a little bit smaller. Make everyone feel like they're pumping just a little bit. And that's all you have to do, is drop new raids and do that, and you are fucking printing money. But like instead, it's like, hey guys, we're gonna butcher the biggest class identity of the game. We're gonna butcher the most popular classes from vanilla. We're gonna give you specs you didn't ask for, and we're gonna give you reskin dungeons. And it's like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, you know what I mean? What is the actual direction? What is the actual, like, where are we going with this? What's the game plan? Because I don't see it right now. I'm not a Blizzard hater. I've never been. I love these games too much, and I spend way too much time on these games to ever legitimately consider myself a Blizzard hater. But like, man, I for the life of me can't understand this. I can't understand what they're doing with Warrior right now. I can't understand what they're doing with Red Paladin right now, which is something I never thought I would say. I don't know why they would sell a rogue tank and then not know what to do with it. I don't know what the point of Melee Hunter is. It doesn't make sense to me. Do people actually want Melee Hunter? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Did people actually want Mage Healer going into this? Like, I don't remember anyone talking about any of this kind of stuff going in when they were talking about Classic Plus. It literally could have just been new raids. But anyways, I've talked enough. That's 18 minutes. I'm still going to play SOD. I'm still going to speedrun. I'm still going to enjoy my time with my boys in HamFam, because I fucking love those boys, and I love speedrunning, and I love cranking in raids. But man, I'm losing faith rapidly in the SOD team. I'm losing faith rapidly. I think that they're getting way too much, like good faith, like good talk, just because they've done the bare minimum of communication that more than Blizzard has given us in the past few years. But a lot of these questions are a lot of these choices are very, very questionable, and it really makes me wonder if these people have actually like really played vanilla, or the people asking for these changes have really played vanilla. If you need to go play a version of vanilla that does not feel, operate, or act like vanilla at all, you just don't like vanilla. My brother in Christ, if I need to go to a sushi restaurant and I need to order a cheeseburger, not get any sushi, I don't like sushi, and that's fine. I'm fine to accept that I don't like sushi in that scenario. I love sushi. Sushi's fucking awesome. But if I need to go there and change the entire menu for it to be edible to where it's completely unrecognizable, at that point, I need to say, sushi just isn't for me. I need to go find a new restaurant. Because none of this makes sense. I can't wrap my head around it. And it's not just because Warriors are bad, but it's such an awful hole to put us in. It's such an awful hole to put Melee in, to put guild leaders in, to put roster management in. Like, hey, you guys stacked Melee Phase 1? Get fucked, because Melee sucks, and it's going to be very hard to bring them Phase 2, not just because they're damaged, but because of all these mechanics, and you're going to have to recruit a bunch of new classes, by the way. You're going to have to start spam recruiting Warlock and Mage, which a lot of people aren't really playing, or weren't really playing already. They were playing half as amount, because people aren't playing vanilla to play those classes in large, they're playing it to play Warrior in large. Similar to how if you dropped a Wrath Season of Discovery version, people would be playing Death Knight at large, because those are the classes people want to play, because these expansions have been out for ever. People know what is going to be good when and where. And they're going to want to play those classes to feel the power that those classes were during that expansion. Even in this setting where everything's supposed to be balanced, they have done a horrible job of balancing. That's the end of my talk. Take care, guys. Peace.